Yo, what's going on, everybody? Aaron here.
Raider Pete, hello.
And welcome to PanNerdia Reviews, WATCHMEN, the HBO series. And we were pretty excited to start this tonight. And, well, you guys are watching it later on, but we just finished the episode, and we're pretty stoked to talk about it. So, without having to necessarily catch you up on everything that was WATCHMEN before, just letting you know that this is not continuing from the movie that came out back in like 2009. Mm-hmm. It's not a sequel to that. This is actually a sequel or canon with the actual comic or the 12 series graphic novel, however you want to call it, by Alan Moore. But yeah, so this is kind of following it. So hopefully you guys, know your background.
And once again, a comic book based series or movie, whatever, is so wonderful because like it's an alternate, it's an alternate
America, pretty much.
It's a different dimension. It's like things turned out differently. That's what comic books do a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of these graphic novels that eventually become a series or some sort of a movie, they have so much freedom of creativity.
Yeah, they kind of divert from what we know as history and kind of take a different path. And there's other shows who do that and have maybe taken from it, but this came out back in the 80s, the comic did, and they did a really good job of, placing that whole, setting that whole scene up in this alternate universe in America. Now, this actually takes place in modern times, 2019, right around September, with the first episode. But, the comics, they took place in the 80s. Nixon's no longer president. Now Robert Redford's president, which is kind of funny. He's been president for 30 years. So as far as characters you might know from the past, I don't know if you saw the previews or not, but there are a few. Of course, in this first episode we have Ozymandias, played by Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, Jeremy Irons, yes.
Yeah, so we have him. Not many scenes in this first episode. Just I think he had one scene kind of really set up his character, and so we have him, of course.
Kind of showed off his ego,
right?
And
yeah,
his status.
Yeah, it's definitely a status. He had a fat castle and servants. But we also, as far as other people are concerned, now we didn't see the owl, but we did see his ship. The Chief Judd in the show, he's he's a police chief. He's actually ends up driving in one of the scenes while they're actually dealing with the antagonist of this first episode. I wouldn't say necessarily the whole season, but this first episode, the 7th Cavalry.
Yes.
Who they're all wearing makeshift Rorschach masks. Yeah. If you guys are familiar with Rorschach. He had a philosophy, but I think he wasn't racist by any means. He wasn't a white supremacist, so they have something else going for him. Maybe a little hidden behind the scenes, but that little Easter egg's still very viable because Rorschach's dead and all. With the main character, Regina King, played by Angela Abraham.
Ageless Regina King. She's been doing film work and TV work forever, and she.
Right.
She looks wonderful.
Right, yeah, I got it mixed up. Sorry, yeah. Regina King playing Angela Abraham in the show. Yeah. Which actually, I forget her name. I guess they didn't catch it. Her name and her
hero name?
Hero name, yeah. I think it's like Sister something. Sister Knight, I think that's what it is. Which actually is pretty cool. Somebody mentioned in the episode that they got their ass kicked by some chick dressed as not a priest but a nun.
Oh yeah, right.
Like a nun beat me up.
right.
It was her being badass. She's really cool.
The hood and the mask.
Yeah, she's badass as hell. I guess she was an ex-cop, but now she's working as one of the heroes. Now, interestingly enough, they're still doing that. I guess
hero by night and teacher by day, or whatever.
Yeah, I guess they're not all banned. I guess the heroes can still work with the police force if they're allowed to, right? So they have some. They have this guy named Red Scare. They have this other chick named Pirate Jenny, which is kind of a nod to the the comics in this world.
Played by Adelaide Clemens.
Yeah, I don't actually. I've never actually seen her before, but she's pretty though.
Yeah.
But her name calling an Easter egg to the comic books in that universe are actually about pirates, not superheroes. It's kind of funny. But yeah, all the police though they wear masks in this iteration now because they're trying to protect their identity. I guess as of late in the story, it's presumed that this 7th Cavalry stuff has been going on here and there for a while, and even Angela was attacked at one point too. So that's kind of why she went off the task force, and I guess ended up becoming this hero working with the police. But yeah, I mean they all kind of set it up, I guess. With like a scene back in 1921. This all takes place in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Correct. Yeah,
right.
Tulsa.
Which is they tied it into a a race thing back in the 1920s. There was almost like a race war. There was like riots in the streets. Tons of African Americans were getting killed.
Apparently, only 100 years ago, because the kid was probably like 5 or 6, and as an old man in the show, he's like, "I'm 105 years old." This and that.
Played by Louis Gossett Jr. Now we don't know the guy's name yet.
Is I think from St. Louis.
Oh, really?
I think he is. I have to look that up. I'm like 90% sure he's from St. Louis.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go, guys.
Yeah.
We learn something new every day, right? But he's kind of mysterious right now, right? Yeah. We see him from back there. He has to be strong. He sees his parents die. He has he finds a little baby, and the kid's only like 5 years old, and he kind of walks off to the distance, and then now it kind of sums up at the end of the episode because we see the letter that his dad gave him. Keep this safe, boy, or whatever. Keep this on you, or watch this. I forget what it said on there, but we'll pop a picture up here in a minute for you guys. But at the end, and oddly enough, Don Johnson got the cut after first episode.
Yeah, I kind of had the feeling they're kind of telegraphing that a bit, especially with the music and like just one thing leading to the next.
Or is it? I mean, or is it just a red herring?
I thought they were just leading it. Something was going to happen to him. I didn't think death, but I mean, hey, he was hanging from the trees. He's gone.
But it's weird too. Like as she was approaching in the car, Angela, that is, because she gets a call in the middle of the night from, we recognize the voice as the old man, and now she kind of knows him, but she does it. I guess the guy pesters her every time she goes into her shop. That's gonna be.
He always reads the morning paper right outside the door, kind of thing.
Pesters her, kind of thing. You're right. So she sees him there.
Business.
But when she approaches him, he's like glowing, or something's glowing. So there's, maybe he's like maybe it's Dr. Manhattan hiding out and taking a disguise. But why would it be? When we saw this little kid before, it just was weird. I almost seemed like he was like glowing blue as she approached him.
Right.
And there's even a little picture up there that we can see off screen. But yeah, so Dr. Manhattan, if just a real quick thing. I know we weren't gonna like really delve into the history of it too much, but with him, he's kind of important because he's the only super powered thing in the whole story.
True science fiction entity, right?
Right. Well, besides the giant squid monster from the from the past, which they actually do have a big Easter egg of, and we'll discuss that in a minute. But it's kind of funny. But Dr. Manhattan, he's like the only super, powered, he's not even human. He's just like otherworldly. But at the end of the comics, he actually leaves, says he's gonna go start life somewhere else. Because like we were discussing before this, he's pretty much like in control of time and space. I mean, he can like bend stuff to his will. He can create things at whim. He kind of sees past and future simultaneously. It's kind of like this weird infinite being,
Doesn't really have much emotion behind there either.
Yeah, apparently he's bad at sex too. But but they did see there was a shot in the show, though he's been gone for a while. There's a shot that he was spotted on Mars, and you see him building castles like out of the red Mars dirt, which is pretty cool. And it's just like a real tiny camera, and he's just like, and we'll pop a picture up there for you. Oh yeah, we're in the police station, by the way, because we have Don Johnson or Chief Judd here, responding to the 7th Cavalry above.
Appropriate character for reviewing the first episode, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Dr. Manhattan, he's gone, but perhaps even his legacy is really impacting things on Earth currently. But we're also introduced to another character who's pretty cool, and played by Tim Blake Nelson. He's that kind of goofy looking dude you've seen him in plenty of things, but he's playing this new character called the Looking Glass. I'm pretty sure Looking Glass wasn't in the comics, if I remember right. But he's working for the police, and he kind of seems to be like the interrogator. Like
right.
They get him this thing called the pod, and if they're interrogating somebody to see if they're in that 7th Cavalry, and he's like asking them questions. He's playing a bunch of like subliminal movies, and
the whole time he's looking right at the pupils of the person who's answering the questions, right. And he's basing that observation on truth or lie.
Yeah, exactly.
But the guy, he held in there that whole time with all the brainwashing stuff inside there, and he's just like, nope. He comes out, yep, he's lying.
Yeah, he's lying, and then
sure enough,
Angela takes him into her interrogation room and beats the living piss out of the dude.
And she's like, yep, the cattle ranch.
Let's go. And that's where that whole scene plays out, with a really crazy gunfight. Bunch of these cows getting pretty much mowed down by this big Gatling gun essentially, and minigun, and that's when we get to see the Owlmobile in action, driven by Don John and Pirate Jenny. So we're assuming, though, if they got out of control of Al's old ship, he must be dead. And if we know that Jane, or the Spectre, not Jane, I'm sorry, Lydia Blake.
I bet you the Owl's just retired or something, and he's just like, you know what? Donated his vehicles to the police department.
I don't know, man, because they didn't they don't have him cast. That's the only thing. Yeah. But they have, where's she at here? Let me see. There we go, Lori Blake. That's who we're talking. Yeah. Jean Smart is playing Lori Blake. Mm-hmm. So Lori Blake is, of course, the Spectre too, but they don't have a cast for the Owl. So it's interesting, unless it's going to be hidden, and we'll show it later. But either way,
it would make sense for a hidden character not to be on any cast list. If it's going to be a surprise. Yeah,
it could be, right? So I do apologize, guys. I said something earlier about Jane Crawford. She's actually the one in the show. She's married to the Don John's character.
Judd Crawford.
Yeah, Judd Crawford's wife. And I got that mixed up with the actress who plays Blake. Gotcha. So sorry about that, guys. But anyway, we're just jumping into this, man. This is something we're excited for, but we still got to get down to the actors' names. We're trying to get it right for you guys, so these next 8 episodes are nice and smooth. But all in all, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was some cool action. It really rung true to that alternate universe vibe. You kind of got that weird eerie feel as you watched it. It didn't give us too much, but I think it gave us enough of this and that. Like I said, the action, there was some humor in it that I liked. The main character, she cusses a lot, and it's cool. Though I don't think this whole Rorschach thing is like the main story I'm getting at. Is like, from what we saw the previews, which I will tack in here as well for the next time on or what's to come this season, I should say. I think this 7th Cavalry thing is gonna.
Is it just kind of Tulsa that's going through this, or is this kind of widespread?
I think it's widespread. I think it's just taking place currently in Tulsa, but I think it's going to be going. We'll see other areas because the Ozymandias whatever that's not in obviously in Tulsa. And then from the previews, I remember seeing like different locations too. You know that can't be in Tulsa, and if it is, it's wacky. But yeah. Either way, I enjoyed it. I think it's gonna be a fun ride. I think they're gonna really invoke the spirit of the original, with like the fact that there's conspiracies. You learn these different flaws with these humans who are trying to be good. I think all in all, it's gonna end up being a great series for HBO. And I mean, shit, they had an HBO budget off the bat. You can tell that even for the pilot episode. That's the episode that HBO saw to get them to be like, yeah, let's do this. Damon Lindelof, he did Lost and he did The Leftovers. So I watched an interview with him today, and he was talking about how he wanted this first season to be a complete story, just how like the original story was. So though I guarantee there'll probably be more seasons, this whole everything that kind of comes up, all the questions that come up this season, for the most part, all get answered. That's pretty cool. That's something to look forward to. So yeah, guys, I think that's about it. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the rest of the series. Hope you guys enjoyed it too. It's kind of our initial thoughts on it.
I just have a couple of quick wacky little sentiments.
Yeah.
One, what was with the horseshoe to cut the cake?
Oh yeah, that's something we were asking.
Is that a symbol, or is that an Easter egg, or is that just like, well, it's the way that weird cake is shaped, so you want to just like,
See, that's why that was a weird part. There was a part where Ozymandias it was his birthday, and he
which would they call it, an anniversary instead of birthday?
Right, yeah, they called it an anniversary, right? Now he didn't have when he got his cake though. They didn't have a knife, and they gave him a horseshoe. I can't remember if that's an Easter egg or
Maybe
what.
it was his anniversary of when he dropped the squid.
Oh yeah, the squid. We forgot to mention
about.
this too, guys.
Oh,
yeah. I'm about to like sign off and shit. The squids. At one point, this big siren goes off. I guess it's a normal thing, and it warns you like, oh, it's about to be a squid shower, and it rains little baby squids everywhere, and you just have to get out, wipe your windows off of the slime, the goo, and go about your day.
There's a special alarm warning for everyone out and about.
It's kind of like a tornado alarm.
Yeah.
If you're aware of what those sound like.
Everyone started opening umbrellas and getting in their cars and just waiting for it to pass.
Yeah.
So I guess basically when the giant squid was dropped by Jeremy Irons over here in years past, there's still like leftover in the atmosphere, like swarming around.
Yeah,
and
it must
when,
be. Yeah.
When like the weather's just right, it drops.
Drops them. Yeah, it must be.
Then there's the
it's
whole
wild, but it's cool.
Frogs are known to kind of come out of the rain, but it's that's a whole other subject.
Right, yeah. Well, it could be kind of speaking on some biblical things, some Moses deals.
What about our guy, the Seeing Glass? Yeah, what was it called?
Looking Glass?
Looking Glass.
Yeah.
He like wipes off his like face on the outside of it. Is it actually, you think he's able to absorb and wipe his face, or is that just for show?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. That was a little weird, but I did notice this, though, when he was in that pod and all those images were flashing on his reflective face.
Right.
He kind of looked like he had a Rorschach mask on.
Yeah, the way the shadows were of the person sitting in front of him. She saw their reflection.
Yeah, I think they did that on purpose.
That,
to kind of make us think. So I think it's going to subvert our expectations, needless to say. I think this show will do a good job of that. Because, again, it's all about that moral dilemma. It's about, seemingly good people. Well, they say they're good, and you see how perhaps corrupt they are, what they do to uphold that. But yeah, guys, all in all, cool stuff. So we will be back to review the next episode, and this will be a series here. We don't have any fancy name like we did our other series. We'll still keep Westworldia, obviously, for the future, but this is just we're just reviewing Watchmen. Alrighty, guys. Take it easy. Peace.